Hey, Aunt Dolly, how are you? What's happening?
Tell her I
The
said,
party? Hey, listen, do you remember my next door neighbor, Phil? Well, he's sitting right here. He says, say hi.
"Hi, how we doing? It's been a long time."
Yeah, it sure is. So, look, the christening is Sunday. I'll have the card and the gift for you and for me, and your transportation is being arranged. Okay? So today is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay? Okay. You feel you feeling all right? Okay. I'll talk to you later tonight. Love you. Bye bye.
Wow, Aunt Dolly.
Okay, that was good
Oh,
timing.
yeah.
That's my Aunt Dolly. That's her nickname. Italians have nicknames for everybody. So if you have a dog and your dog is named Lucky, nobody calls the dog Lucky. It's Spunky, it's Spunkster, it's Bunky from Spunky.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's exactly how it goes with your kids, your relatives, your friends. Everybody's got a nickname. For me, growing up, um, my uncle tagged me with Japones. Japones means Japanese. Why? Because I had jet black straight hair and my eyes are still kind of half closed. I was Japones. And then I was Johnny Boy.
Mm.
And then I was this. And then I was that. What about you,
You
Phil?
you gotta love mobsters.
Well, they do the same thing.
Oh, Johnny Two Toes.
Right.
I mean,
Johnny Two Toes.
Paulie Spoons.
Nobody ever asks him, hey, douchebag, why do they call you Two Toes? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, but all these crazy nicknames. But when we were kids, I mean, there was a kid where I grew up. We used to call him Chicken, and
Okay.
I think he was in his 20s, and we still called him Chicken. Hey, look, it's Chicken. Why we call him
Right.
Chicken, I have no idea. But I think because he looked like a chicken. If
Right.
he's still out there, I don't know.
So there was a kid in grammar school that I grew up with, and he was, part of the crew. He didn't live near me. He lived on like the other end of town, but his name was Brian. Rest his soul, he passed, I think, while we were in high school or just shortly
I
thereafter.
think right after high school.
You know, it's Brian McPartland. Remember
Yeah.
Brian McPartland, right?
Very nice.
He was my friend. But in grammar school,
A fan of boxing.
until he met John Esposito.
Yeah.
Right? Were you there for that?
No, no.
Ooh, what an ass fucking kicking. Anyway, Brian McPartland, I don't know what, he was just on a roll that day, and he was naming everybody. And he says, "Hey, you, Galucci." He goes, "You're a Gaba Galucci." Like, who was the character on the old Abbott and Costello sitcom shows?
Mr. Sidney Fields?
No,
Oh,
not Sidney
the guy
Fields,
with the produce. Bachagaloop.
Bachagaloop,
Yeah.
right. So it went from Bachagaloop to Gaba Galuch, and I was Gaba Galucci. Um, that was mid grammar school. Probably to certain people, I'm still Gaba Galuch. I should have called this the Gaba Galuch show.
The Gabagaloot Show. Yeah, yeah. It's funny how those
Right.
nicknames. And you're right. If your uncle or aunt sticks you with a nickname, I mean, you could be 60,
You're done.
63 years old.
You're done.
They're still calling you, hey, Peanuts. I mean,
Yep.
whatever you want it to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
nicknames.
true.
Especially in Jersey, everybody's got a nickname
Right.
You know.
Yeah, sure.
for whatever reason.
Well, nicknames are fun.
Yes.
Some people,
Get offended.
what you were saying, the tomato gangsters use nicknames just so that nobody knows who the fuck you're talking about while you're being wiretapped.
Yeah. Well, in Donnie, yeah.
Right.
I mean, in Donnie Brasco, you had Sonny Black, Sonny Red, right? And those were real life guys.
Yeah.
So everybody had their name, Sammy the Bull, if you're into that life.
Well,
I mean,
speaking of nicknames, look at the guy behind you. He's known as Bones, but we
Major.
just revealed his surname. I think on the last episode or the episode before that.
Was it?
His last name is Springfield.
for some reason, I was
like-
going to say
like the-
Wellington. Who was Wellington?
Lord Wellington.
Lord Wellington.
Right, he's the one that defeated Napoleon. But Bones, um, his last name is really Springfield, and it's kind of appropriate because that was the manufacturer's name of the M1 rifle that the Americans used in World War II. And here he is, Mr. Military. So he's Bones. He's Major Springfield Bones. Um,
John, it
one
seems,
of these days he's going to come across with his first name.
yeah, I doubt it. It seems like when we were kids, that was the worst thing we had to worry about was what nickname, you were being called or what to
Oh yeah.
respond to. And it just really doesn't seem like nowadays with what's going on in schools. I mean, it just really doesn't mean there's so much more serious issues going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even talk about what they're teaching the kids in school. CRT, critical race theory, sex education for kindergartners.
Listen, you know something? There is a growing big fucking pushback coming. It's a pushback coming against the people that move in an agenda driven fashion. Who is moved in an agenda driven fashion? The World Economic Forum is moved in an agenda driven fashion, and they're I think it's over now. It started Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm not sure if they're still, you know,
I think it's done.
bullshitting and jawing at each other. But Klaus Schwab, the guy, he actually founded the World Economic Forum. I think it was back in the 70s. Yeah, and the guy is, a German who was Harvard educated, then got his advanced degrees, I don't know, somewhere, Austria or Germany or something like that. But these guys are talking about how basically, because they're so smart and because they're such pedigreed people, that they're going to tell us how the rest of the world should live. They have their hand on the dial to adjust the world population. How are they adjusting the world population? They're adjusting it by poisoning the fuck out of all of us, by withholding services and goods, by decimating the continent that is Africa over many, many, many years, right?
Mm,
You good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
I love a live podcast.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So the World Economic Forum and the International Monetary Fund with Ms. Lagarde, they're all there to hobnob with each other in places like Davos, which is a ski resort in Switzerland. These are the same feckless assholes that make up the Bilderberg Group. Now, you guys have heard of the Bilderberg Group? If you haven't, look it up. It's the same kind of schmoozy woozy international bazillionaires that meet every year in some hotel, I think in Norway, called the Bilderberg. Oh, let me tell you how transparent they are. They have snipers and armed guards. You can't get near. You can't get near that place. And then a lot of the same people meet on a 2,300-acre preserve in California, and that's called. It's the place that Alex Jones snuck into with a camera crew. Um,
I know the story, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, I'll think of it later on. But there are all of these big shot, big cats, and if you're tagged as an influencer, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right, or Jimmy Buffett, as much as I love Jimmy Buffett, his work, he's been to. The name is just escaping my old brain, but they get there and they have all sorts of weird, strange events, and then they worship the owl god. They worship Molech. They burn a body in effigy. It's a spiritual secret society, and they try to pull all of these very wealthy, influential people in. just like the upper echelons of any other secret society, lest we not forget the Freemasons. Um,
So secret societies are agenda driven,
of course
obviously.
they are.
Okay.
Otherwise, why would they have to be secret?
Exactly. So the agenda isn't really to help mankind.
Mm-mm.
It's to benefit themselves, their groups.
Their agenda is to control the world, control the ebb and flow of goods and services, and how many souls inhabit this planet in the third dimension. And here's how it was explained to me. When I asked a master one day, what's a master? A master is a psychic, a medium, a shaman, somebody who every single day is in and out of other dimensions, somebody who is completely spiritually connected, and quite frankly, really only in this third dimension with us, probably 25% of every 24 hours. I know several of those people, and I'm quite close with them, thank you. Um, where were we going? Because all of a sudden I
Don't
was
ask me
with
tough
them.
questions.
Yeah.
Well, people with their own agenda, their own plan. They're not for the good of the people.
We got into the whole, the masters were talking to me about the agenda of these secret societies.
Well, John, I mean, so how do they get allowed?
I'll get back to it. Go
How do they
ahead.
get allowed to function like that? How are they allowed to propagate these?
I got it. You gotta
Okay.
give me. I have to jump
No,
back
no,
in.
no,
When the
jump.
window opens up, whoop! I gotta go back
Jump.
in. Yeah, jump. Oh, I forgot again. No, it's.
You did forget.
I did forget again. I just had it joking around. I just forgot it again.
Wow.
Um,
Well, it'll come back to you.
yeah,
But
well,
how
it's
are these
right
people
there.
allowed to, with their armed bodyguards, these heads of state, these financial people that run these financial institutions? How are they allowed to do all this? If everybody knows they're meeting and they're putting together their own separate agenda, not what's good for mankind, how is that allowed? I mean,
Bohemian Grove.
yes.
That's the name of that whole happenstance on that 23-acre preserve, reserve, farm, whatever in California. And apparently it's once a year. Who knows if they still do it? But apparently they get together and they do a bunch of weird things. Like they run around naked and they worship other gods, and it's all agenda driven to control the planet. And that bought
Why
us.
do you have to be naked to control the planet? I don't understand.
I think what happens is
I bet you can control more people
but
with
there-
clothes on.
there are. Well, I don't know now. I think what they're striving for, at least in the
A rebirth or something?
no in the confines of a ceremony, is to get you to do something that
Oh,
bonds
yeah.
you to the rest of the group.
It's called blackmail.
Well, but that's it. And they all know that they're going to be blackmailed. But if they're willing and able to do this, and it kind of assures their status in the third dimension, they own the third dimension. That's what I forgot to say, was these people, the elites, own the third dimension. And this is why I was mentioning these spiritual masters. Imagine if you were reverent and in tune with and connected to the living God, the God that is everywhere in the universe, the God that is the power, the expansive, magnanimous, ever growing and expanding river of love and light. If you were all in on that, how would you foul your brother man, right? Your fellow man, your sisters and your brothers, on behalf of your advancement and the advancement of you and your cohorts in these ridiculous secret societies. Ridiculous secret societies. I didn't say that they were impotent. I said they're ridiculous. And one day one day, mark my words, and it may be long after this guy's gone, those secret societies are going to be part of the old history books. Okay, maybe there are no more books by the time I'm gone, but they'll be somewhere in somebody's computer bank of records to say, oh yeah, this society, look what they did. Look what they did. They coerced the world governments and the world leaders into having a war. Why would they do that? To kill people and to make money. What does it take? What does it take to wage a war? Well, if you are the prime minister or the president of country A and you want to wage a war against country Y, you got to go to the Rothschild central banking system, those fucking scumbags, and say, well, we need to borrow some money, so please, sir, I want some more. I want some more of your money. I want some more of your fiat currency. That's backed by shit. And then they borrow $100 billion. Listen, if you think that's bullshit, then why is it that the big guy, Brandon, who appears to be in the White House, what right does he have to give to Ukraine 43 billion of our taxpayer dollars? You see, it's happening right in front of all of us. And you know something? Most of you just don't want to pay attention. $43 billion. For what? Do you really think that the Ukrainians are going to kick the asses of the great Russian Empire? You're fucking dreaming. But if you scroll through those TikTok and Facebook shorts at night, like I do, because I'm amused by the bullfrog trying to eat the murder hornet and all that stuff, then you'll see, last night I saw one video after the next of complete Russian decimation. You know, the column of Russian armored vehicles, boom, 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 and everybody's running and they're scattering, and the victorious Ukrainian military. It's a joke, people. It's a joke. That's like Taiwan kicking China's ass. Don't fall for it. So you think, oh, everybody wants to be part of the winning side. You think that you want to be part of the winning side, and you think that the winning side is going to be the Ukraine, because when you go to the supermarket, they say, would you like to donate to the Ukrainian military fund? No! No, I would not. I don't want to donate to the Russian military fund either. I'd like to donate to people in the United States that don't have a roof over their heads. I'd like to donate to people in the United States that can't fucking feed themselves. I'd like to donate to the people who are getting screwed out of their life savings to put their kid into a college that's costing $250,000, 300,000 post-tax dollars, so they can come out and they get rejected for a job at Quick Check because the AI scanners took their fucking jobs away.
Wow.
This is a fun episode.
What's in that coffee today? Well, John, I think what you're saying, you're speaking for most of John Q. Public, the average everyday
Don't
American.
say Q. Now we're going to be labeled.
John Q. Public. And the average citizen, because everybody wants to know. And I actually think the total is in the 50 billions, 54 billion, something like that.
Well, I have to admit, I don't know. The first quote from Joey Jerkoff was $16 billion. And then, like, just a matter of weeks later, all of a sudden now it's 43 billion. I don't know if it's 43 plus 16 or if we reached 43 as an extension of the original 16. You can't even keep from shitting in your own pants, you asshole. Do you think you're fooling us? I'll tell you, there is a core around you. There is a core around you that hates the rest of us so much that they just seem to they're in your bubble. They're in your bullshit bubble. And there you go. And so they're happy. They're happy to screw the rest of us by handing over $43 billion to the goddamn Ukrainians. God bless the Ukrainian people. But the hierarchy, the government, do I trust them? Absolutely not. Let's talk about regime change in the Ukraine. Oh, that happened, people. You just don't know the goddamn history. You don't know it. Right? And let's talk again about the Nazis in the Ukraine. I didn't make it up. He didn't make it up. Bones didn't make it up. No. Go to YouTube. There are fighters in the Ukraine that say, yes, we are Nazis. Yes, we are the Nazis. Nazis didn't go away after World War II. Absolutely not. And one of the big, big international strongholds of the Schnazis, I just can't help but think of Klaus Schwab. You know, he couldn't be named anything other than Klaus Schwab. You know why? Because everybody should fear the fucking Nazis. They didn't accomplish anything good on this planet. But Klaus Schwab, with that accent, what does his last name mean? It means Germanic. I love Germany. I've spent some really quality time in Munich, in Germany, in Bavaria. I love the German people. I love the country that is Germany. But I am not a friend of the Schnazis, nor am I a friend of Klaus Schwab. No, I'm not. Come on, I've said this before, and I reference him. You will own nothing and be happy. Fuck you. Fuck you. Unbelievable. Now, is this verbiage and diatribe unbecoming of the Jersey Alchemist? Oh no, not in your life. No, this is exactly who I am. We all have a dark side and a light side. And you know something? The alchemy is to change the dark to the light. So this podcast is all about getting the dark shit up on the table so that you all can see it, so that you are exposed, so that you can't feign awareness. Don't play dumb anymore, people. The time is long gone for playing dumb. No more marshmallows. No more fucking marshmallows. Do you know what marshmallows are for? We said it last time. You put a fucking stick through it and you fucking stick it in the grill or over the campfire. And if you're not paying attention, it catches on fire. Then you gotta go, and then you blow it off, and then you take the outer shell off. And either way, the outer shell that's all crispy and crunchy with that nice, gooey inside. Either way, you're getting eaten. That's what marshmallows are for, to get eaten. Why do you want to be a marshmallow? Why would you let the International Monetary Fund tell you how you should live your life? Why do you want that? Why would you let Klaus Schwab and George Soros and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and Bill Gates and Tony Fauci and all of these feckless douchebags that have stepped up and pissed on your fucking cake? Why would you let them do that? Davos isn't your friend. Davos is the name of the town that the World Economic Forum meets in. That's in Switzerland. Yeah, I think we stated that. But please, people, and I know that the left hates it whenever anybody says, wake up, right? Because they loathe the idea of you waking up. You know why? Because when you wake up, you see them for who they are. They're a bunch of feckless, horrible, evil, Luciferian-driven haters. That's who's in control of this planet. The prince of this world is not Jesus Christ. The prince of this world is not the prophet Muhammad. The prince of this world is not Gautama Buddha. No. Prince of this world is Satan/Lucifer. We are fighting a spiritual warfare, my friends. You better wake up, because if you don't wake up and if you don't jump in, pretty soon it's going to be too late. And you're the frog in the pot and they're turning up the heat. And if you don't know that reference, look it up.
John, let's not forget, these checks that we're writing, billions and billions of dollars, are checks we can't cash. We're borrowing that money. We are.
Of course, but that's the whole point.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's one thing to help another country. I mean, we can't even not only not help ourselves, right, and like you said, the homeless, and there's so much so many things we need in this country, but it's money we don't have
Look,
that we have to pay for.
every single
Tax-wise.
person that can hear this podcast, go online and do a search. I can't even say use DuckDuckGo anymore because they apparently were a bunch of black hats posing as white hats, and however you want to look at it. But if you look up a pie chart of where federal spending is going and where it's coming from, your tax dollars make up just a little sliver. It's less than 5%. You're getting screwed out of your hard-earned dollars, screwed to the wall. The government's taking the money and doing all sorts of hush-hush things with our money. Right. And when they use money, they're borrowing it from the central bankers who are overcharging us. And then there's this big, huge bill. What is it now? $75 trillion national debt or something like that?
Ridiculous.
And you know who gets tagged to pay it off? You do. You. And you. And you. And me. All of us. While we're paying our car insurance. What? Oh, yesterday I pulled up to the gas pumps. Regular. Fill it up, bud. Regular. Thanks. Okay, boss. Fill it up. $103.
Wow.
103 bucks. And I was just like, and the gas jockey, we're in Jersey, so there are people who still have a job to pump your gas. And he just looked at me and he kind of shrugged his shoulders and he laughed. Yeah, and I kind of laughed too, like, what the fuck are you going to do about this? Do you really think there's a gas shortage? No, there's no gas shortage. Is it a good idea to move away from fossil fuels? Yeah, I think that it is a good idea. Sure it is. But the entire shortage issue, going all the way back to 1972 when they said there were gas shortages, but film crews were watching gas tankers opening up their valves and pouring the gasoline into the sands of the desert. It's all contrived, people. No baby formula is contrived on purpose. No car parts is contrived on purpose. It's all one big, filthy, agenda-driven lie. Do you want to label me as the grand wizard of conspiracy theory? You can do that, but you're only really speaking to just how fucking stupid you are. Because the conspiracies have always belonged to the elite who have been dangling us, and they lead us to war. Look how fast the American population, because the mainstream media was vilifying Vladimir Putin. Whether he deserves it or not, that's not the point of this topic. Everybody had been viciously lied to by the media, but you're too fucking stupid to figure that out. So after the lie of eat this and that little green thing floating around with the spikes on it, after 2 years of being lied to all about that, all of a sudden now we're being rebel-roused to join the fight. Fight Russia, bad Russia, bad Russia, let's go to war with Russia. And you've got all of these idiots in Washington that are talking about going to war with Russia. Well, why don't we just get it over with? Let's have fucking World War IV, because World War III we're already in. It's just an information and technology war that we've been in for several decades. Let's just push the button. Let's just reset the planet. The great global reset, as per Klaus Schwab. Why don't we just duct tape his ass to the mother of all bombs and drop it? Why don't we do that? Oh, no, we couldn't do that. No. So, you know what? Stop being stupid. Stop being so easily fooled. I have friends of mine that I know longer than I know Phil, who actually are so fucking stupid that they watch CNN and they quote CNN on social media. And I just, holy moly. I'm not saying that Fox is not lying to you. I have another friend of mine who is also a podcaster. I know him since kindergarten. And he made a quote on his podcast the other day. Geez, I was in Manhattan and it was a great day and we were doing a live, on location podcast. And I looked up and I was outside of Fox Studios and I almost threw up into my mouth. Okay, I give you that. I understand. I'm not getting on you for that. But for God's sakes, you better lump them all into the mainstream fucking liars. The Liars Club. Every time you turn on the mainstream media, it's just the next version of the fucking Liars Club, whether it's Fox or MSNBC or CNN. And you know something? They've led us all down a shit fucking rat hole, and they will take you to war. They'll take you to war if you let them. If you let them. You're piss poor. You're all debt slaves. You're being poisoned. Cancer is in 1 in 2 people. Why? Because of this shit fuckers. These shit fuckers are leading us all to death and destruction. Does it seem like I'm on an irrevocable rant today? Yeah. Well, maybe that's what the podcast is all about. And I think I know where this is going regarding alchemization, but I'm not ready to alchemize it just yet.
John, so let me get this straight.
Sorry.
Don't be for what?
Sorry for obliviating.
No. That's why we're here. So let me get this straight. So politicians go to Washington. They send money all over the world instead of spending it here. They raise our taxes, so we become, like you say, debt slaves. And yet they leave Washington richer than when they started.
Fantastically richer. And
how does that work?
And everybody is lied to. If you poll, we should really do a street poll. We should go out there and ask people, and where do you think your tax dollars go? Where? Oh, for public programs, for people who are on the bottom. It's all a fucking lie, people. Just look up that pie chart. There's just, out of that 360-degree circle, there's just a little tiny sliver where tax dollars are being appropriated. The rest of your tax dollars are being gobbled up in bullshit operations and programs. And here's another interesting thought. If the fucking Federal Reserve has been granted the power to print money. I asked my dad one day a long time ago, I think I was like 10 or 12 years old. I says, "Hey, Dad, how come there are poor people? How come the government," I think I said the Treasury because I think we went on a class trip somewhere, and they talked about the Treasury and the money and all that stuff. How come the Treasury can't just print up a lot more money and hand it out so that poor people can have all the money that they need? He said, "Well, it would be nice if it worked that way." He said, "But it doesn't work that way because the money is backed by precious metals, gold and silver. And if you just make this big, huge pile of money, then each dollar is just a smaller and smaller and smaller fraction of what backs the dollar, like gold or silver. So you can't do that. And if you print money on your own, that's called counterfeiting. And the government will catch you and you'll go to jail for the rest of your life. And then Hollywood will make a movie about you. And the entire world will see what happens to counterfeiters. Because it's never going to end up good for you. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So guess what we have here today, people? A fractional fiat banking system where the central bankers have been granted the power to print money to such a fabulous degree, fabulous being facetious, such a huge degree that each dollar is fucking worthless. And since the Federal Reserve opened its doors in 1913, the act was done in 1910. It took 2.5 to 3 years for the Federal Reserve to be appropriately named so it could fool the public, to having the public think, it's a federal agency and it's all about our reserve. So we want our money to go to our reserve, because that's like having a big closet full of essential items in your house. It's like having your own personal bomb shelter. It's our reserve. No, it's not. The Federal Reserve is a private cabal institution that commits counterfeiting every single day. They've driven our money down into the dirt. The purchasing power of a US dollar has dropped about 98% since the Federal Reserve opened its doors in 1913. 98%. 98%. So if they can print trillions of dollars a year, why are you paying the taxes that you're paying? How come the Federal Reserve, if it's our fucking reserve, how come they don't just take the tax burden and alleviate that from every fucking taxpayer in this country and just print that fucking amount? Just print the fucking burden, because you're just printing way more than that every fucking day. You lying sacks of shit. Ah, George Bush was right. Pitchforks and torches, boys and girls, and good old-fashioned stoning. I mentioned that on a recent episode. You know something? You're just begging for it. You're begging for pitchforks and torches and stonings. You are.
John, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to alchemize this episode, but I think you should give it a shot. Let's shed some light,
Okay.
because there's a lot of heat coming out there.
There's a lot of heat, and I've personally had it, but this is the Jersey Alchemist.
Yes. Bring it home.
Do you think, I'm not comparing myself to the Dalai Lama. I'm not. Okay, there's only one Dalai Lama in each skin, and then when he passes, there'll be another one reborn into that role. Do you think the Dalai Lama doesn't have hostile thoughts against China and what the Chinese governments over the years have done to and intend to do to the Tibetan people? Of course he does. Of course he does. That's why they don't want him around. Right. So even the Dalai Lama is guilty of having, let's be kind, okay? Instead of vengeful thoughts, we'll call them progressive thoughts, because you can get from point A to point B. You can call it revenge, then you got to dig two holes, just like Gautama Buddha said, dig two holes, one for your adversary and one for yourself, two graves. Or if we just call it progressive thoughts, it's kind of a candy coating way of saying we got to get from point A to point B in a nonviolent fashion, in a fashion with education, awareness, peace, and love. But you know who's forcing the whole issue to be an ugly issue? The global elite, the same people that are in the secret societies, the international central bankers. They are. There's just no doubting that. And whenever I went on one of these rants to somebody, there are people out there who will go to their graves defending the Rothschilds, defending them. Oh, it's not. They're wonderful people who have helped the world. You fucking piece of shit. Who do you think you're snow jobbing? Okay, alchemy time.
Yes, please. Bring it
Okay.
home. Bring it home.
I gotta dig deep on this one.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not gonna be easy. After that rant, believe it or not, in 2012, I wrote a prayer. It's called the Healer's Prayer. And I didn't realize it, but it was on the very day that my sister passed. Years later, but on the anniversary of. It's called the Healer's Prayer. And this prayer goes out from me to the global elite who want to cull our numbers. They want to hurt and maim and injure and poison us. They want to rob us blind, and they want to keep us serfs digging in the slop. The Healer's Prayer. O Lord, cleanse me. Holy Spirit, fall afresh on me and purify my heart, my mind, my body, my soul. May my spirit carry only love and healing energy. Jesus, forgive me my sins as I forgive others. I ask God to help me assist and heal my brothers and sisters. Holy Spirit, fill this space and fall afresh on us now. May the power of Jesus and the Christ light change me, mold me, use me, heal me, anoint me, bless me. Make me an instrument of your peace and love, O Lord and Master, for we give our lives to God and the Holy Spirit, so that we may serve our brothers and sisters in Jesus' name. Amen. Send that prayer out all over the world. Let's erase the iniquity. Let's erase everything that's coming from these soulless, dark-hearted types that are trying to drive the world down a Luciferian rat hole. Huh. Amen.
Well said, pal. Great alchemy. If you like what we're doing, people, thank you for joining us. Press the like button and subscribe. Tell your friends. Till next time.
One last thing before we sign off.
Whoa.
You feel strongly about something, like I do? Everybody should feel strongly about something. No more marshmallows, people. When you feel strongly about something, make your voice heard. And you know something? Get a notebook and a pen and time it and date it and write your own prayer. Doesn't matter if it takes 5 minutes. Doesn't matter if it takes 5 months. Write your own prayer. Let it come from your soul. Let it come from your heart. And you know something? Say that prayer every single day. Send it out to the universe. Use it with your creativity and your emotions. That's how you'll change the world.
Wow. Great follow-up. Great follow-up. Till next time, people, the Jersey Alchemist. Peace.